But this was also Matthew Guerra and Savannah Soto, and their son that they were going to name Fabian. You're going to hear that they lived a lifestyle that many of us don't understand, we don't identify with, and we don't agree with. You're going to hear that they made choices that many of us would not make. But the penalty for those poor choices should not be execution. And the evidence is going to prove to you that on December 21st of 2023, that is exactly what Christopher Preciado did to them and their unborn baby. He executed them. And for no other reason than he needed money and Matthew had a lot of it. You see, even though Matthew and Savannah were not perfect, as none of us are, they were excited to welcome Fabian into the world. And on December 23rd of 2023, that was what they were going to do. They had an appointment at the hospital because Savannah was past her due date and she was set to be induced. And you're going to hear that their family and loved ones went to the hospital for that momentous occasion. And when they got there, they waited and they waited, and Savannah and Matthew did not show up. You're going to hear that they called them and they got no answer. You're going to hear that they went to their apartment and they looked for them and they were not there, but the apartment looked fine. So they reported them as missing. And you're going to hear for 3 days, their families searched and scoured and used all of the resources at their disposal to try to find them. They used the news, the internet, social media, flyers, you name it. They did it for 3 days until December 26th. And on December 26th, you're going to hear that one of Savannah's friends, Joni, got a message the day after Christmas that somebody thought they had found Matthew's car. And so Joni sent that information to law enforcement, and then her and 2 of Savannah's brothers went to that location, an apartment complex at 5903 Danny K. And they're going to tell you that it took them a minute to find the car because it was parked in the furthest corner of that complex up against a fence next to a pile of scrap lumber. And when they got there, they saw something that they had hoped and prayed they would never find. She's going to tell you that as she walked up to that car and she looked inside, she saw Savannah in the passenger seat, dead. Covered in junk, the baby carrier on her belly. And you're going to hear that she was so distraught by this discovery, she didn't even notice Matthew lying down in the back seat, also dead. You're going to hear that thankfully, right about the same time as Joni and Savannah's brothers got there, law enforcement arrived as well. And with the more and more family of the 2 that arrived, it became an emotionally charged scene. And they had to do everything they could to protect the integrity of that crime scene and whatever evidence might have still been there, because they didn't know how long that car had been sitting and how long their bodies had been sitting. And you're going to hear that paramedics got there, they broke